All right, so we're getting started on the rear of the Bronco. I don't have a tripod, so I'm gonna set you guys up the best I can. Maybe on that table over there. But right now he's gonna pull the drive shaft and the shocks. I was not gonna replace these shocks, but they look a little worse for wear. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap them out while I'm in here doing this. And we're pulling this chunk to replace the gaskets. And we're pulling the brake backs right now. I've already pulled the axle. I don't know if you can see it on the ground over there. I've already pulled the axle. So I have new bearings going in. Kind of looks like somebody may have already done that, or there's something that's ate into the housing right here. I know it's super dark. Look how light. All right, so it looks like something ate into the housing right there. I'm not sure what's up with that, but regardless, this seal was leaking and it was getting fluid everywhere. So we're gonna swap that out, and we're changing these were seizing, these brakes were seizing, so I have all new drums and all that going on here. So yeah, that's the current goal. All right, we're going to pull this third member now. I'm gonna start with this little one and probably gonna replace the pinion seal as well. But we're gonna go ahead and pull this one first and make sure that's a paper gasket back there. It looks like it is, but I didn't order one of those, so. Might be a 5/8 on this one. Gave me a magnetric pan. Go ahead and take this one right here. Shop's a bit of a wreck right now. It always is, honestly. Probably best to pull the drive shaft out of the way, but for some reason we decided not to. And everything will go in the parts washer once that's done, so I've got about 2 minutes on that. So now, I don't actually know how this works, so I'll grab my hammer and see if that just taps loose or what. I've never done a Ford 9-inch, so it's all new to me. Okay. Get that nut off. And don't clean the nut, obviously. And there you go. That's your yoke off. And now, I don't know if that can come off now or what. It should be able to. That is, I feel like quite a bit of play, but maybe not. It looked like it was leaking from right here to me. This is where it looked wet. It was from this part right here. Let's get tools out of here. Fluid looks really good though. This was probably recently done, but it was leaking, so didn't really have a choice but to redo this. This is a little bit of a weird design here. I may change my mind on that crush sleeve, but I don't really see the point. I mean, your goal is to replace this seal right here, which you can do without taking this flange out, by the way. But it appears to me that I need this copper gasket. Actually, I don't even know if it's copper. This might be a shim. If this is a shim, I can reuse it. So as you can see, we still have an engine oil leak. That's from the valve cover up there. So I want to address that and fix that. I want to address the transmission leak here. It looks like it's just the pan. I didn't see any fluid here, and I didn't see any fluid coming out here. So I'm pretty sure it's just the pan. So we're gonna go ahead and change that gasket out. This transmission will probably eventually get rebuilt by me, but for the time being, I just would really like to drive this thing down the road. No, oh, what's it? Alright, so I got the third member out. It's down on the ground. I set my camera down. Didn't even remember I did it. So, anyway, third member's out. It's pretty glittery in here. So, it probably needs new bearings. But, I came in here for a leak. Not planning on rebuilding this differential. So, it worked. It went down the road. I don't know. I did notice a lot of in-play there. That'd be nice if that was not where it is. But what can you do? I guess we could do this. There we go. So, like I said, wasn't planning on doing all that. The fluid looked really clean coming out, so it wasn't like gone. Take a good look at that third member in a minute. I'm gonna finish getting this housing all cleaned up. This stuff right here stinks. Does the job. That's for sure. Does the job. I've got all the sway bar hardware washing in the parts washer. I'm gonna clean up the sway bar. I'll get new bushes and links for this, because these are fine. They're a little crusty, but I mean, they still move freely and they're not broke. So I might leave those, but I'll probably get new links because these bushings are trash, and I'm sure those are just as trashed. So ooh, okay. Those took no effort. Okay, I'm gonna grab a speed handle. I just wanna see how loose these guys were. I know on these stupid little rubber pans, you can't, those little rubber gaskets, you can't get them real tight. But I mean, you gotta get them tight enough where they aren't gonna back out. So, kind of forgot to pick up the camera before I finished pulling the pan, but I made a mess everywhere. I've cleaned it up now. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pull the filter. You've got two 10 mils here on the end, and the rest are 8 millimeters. All right, so I forgot to finish recording pulling the pan. Basically all the bolts were really loose. But we're not going back with this pan. I actually have a chrome pan left over from another project that's never gotten put on. So that was for the F100 project, but it's been on a long hold. So we're just gonna go ahead and use it on this. And just, I think these are all the same length. I would just head this way. Just verify real quick. Yes. So far all those are the same length. Okay. That one definitely had some fluid behind it. One also did. Same length bolts. At least they appear that way to me. It is important to make sure that you're checking, because you get too long of a bolt and you end up running into a valve or something behind it, and it's a problem. Okay, for example, this is a shouldered bolt, so this one is different. So remember where your shouldered bolts were. See, this was our standard length, and there's our shoulder bolt. You can see the difference. So shoulder bolt was there. It looks like it was just that one. Oh, okay. Hey kids, don't do that. So since all the others are the same except this one, I'm gonna keep this one in my hand, and I'm gonna grab my new filter. From Automatic Transmission Parts. This is a good brand. So you see that O-ring there? Let's see if that, make sure that's not still up in here. I don't see anything, so I'm gonna assume that it's not. It also, hang on a minute, they're different. Is that a problem? Oh yeah, you're gonna need this little tube, I guess. So we'll clean that up. I can go in from the bottom though, so it's not that big of an ordeal. I did just put our pan bolts in here. I've been using the crap out of this thing since I got it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna run those one more time. I don't know if I ever actually started it, so. All right, with that going. Open up this filter. And this is in the event you're just doing a filter and pan gasket. So if you are rebuilding the transmission, this is unnecessary, unless it's been a while since you rebuild, then it might be necessary. Anyway. Oh yeah, if you remember, those on the end were R2 10 millimeters. All right, so it looks like we're 40 to 60 on the small bolts and 80 to 100 inch pounds on the big ones. Okay. This thing hits. I'm guessing that that hand is deeper. It is. It is indeed deeper. Which means it holds more fluid as well. As you can see there, where it dips down and stuff. Well, that's a little disappointing. Do I need this? Because I'm pretty sure the only reason it's here is for that. Let's the C6 that I rebuilt that pan is for is right there. Let's see how that pan looks. Maybe that's a different design. That's also two-wheel drive. Oh yeah. It's just like that other one. Okay. And actually that has a brand new modulator valve in it. Okay, well. Change of plans. We're not using the nice chrome pan, unfortunately. We're gonna switch gears. I'm gonna get this cleaned up, paint it, make it look pretty and all that stuff, and then we'll use it. Alright, well, I never peeled the gasket off this when I pulled it down originally, but it looks like somebody has made a whole bunch of micro scratches in this with, I don't know, probably a roll lock disc or something. So I'm not totally sure this is going to seal up without a good coat of RTV on each side. Alright, so developments have been made. First one, I forgot this gasket, so I'm going to swap that out off camera. Alright, so I don't know if you can tell or not, but the surface up here is pretty good. It's not great, but I don't want to have a bunch of RTV up here, you know. There is transmission fluid around it. This corner mainly. So make sure there's no transmission fluid when you go to install this. We now need that if we're using the original fan. Looks like torque spec on this is going to be 12 foot-pounds. Does seem a little low to me, but alright, something else I'm going to do. I'm going to take a paint marker and mark the bolts on torque so that we can visually see if they back off or not. One of the other reasons I like to make sure that my bolts are getting degreased. Oh, you can't do it well. You can still know. Come on, let's do it. Y'all keep track of what you have. Here now. There we go. Over here. All right, transmission pan done. I think I left. Got a little bit there. Get another. Wait. I can lock that one, right? In case you're not much for that. You'll get Okay, we're gonna torque the rear end now. You only need a 9/16 crow's foot. Or something similar. Forgot to set my torque wrench. This is 35 foot-pounds. Okay, so I removed the pinion seal because I forgot a very important step. I was able to remove it without damaging this at all, which is good for me. So I was doing a little bit of reading on this crush washer deal right here. Really the best thing to do is just to rebuild the entire carrier if you're gonna mess with this, which is silly when you think about it because it's a $12 seal that went bad here, you know. And to just fix a leaking differential, I mean, to rebuild the entire thing, set new preload, new bearings, all that stuff, that just sounds crazy to me. They say at the very least is to replace this crush washer or measure it and get a what they call it, like basically a solid bushing this size. So I'm gonna measure it and see if I can order something. I'm going out of town anyway, so not a huge deal if it's gonna take 2 days. All right, I'm back from my trip. I ordered some parts while I was gone. I got another one of these, but I don't think I need it actually. I'm fairly certain I do not need it. But this is supposed to be the right seal for this application. It is a Timken. Well, they've covered up the part number with their tag. Well, that's frustrating. Let me read the seal for you. This is a Timken 3604, if you want the Timken part number. That is supposed to be what fits in this bore. This is just for a Ford 8.8. I don't know why the 9-inch one doesn't work, but it doesn't. Anyway, also I messed up tightening this back up anyway, and I over tightened it, which is what happens with crush sleeves, which is why nobody likes them. So I went online and I found this. This is a solid spacer for these. This does away with your crush washer altogether. And you put this in there and you set your, it comes with a bunch of spacers, and you set your height and you set your in play or your preload and you're done. So I'm gonna do that just because I didn't really trust. I don't know entirely what preload does, but you know, I'd rather do this thing once and not be ripping it apart again in a few months because I blew the entire rear end out of it and I've got to rebuild everything now. All right, so here I am with my calipers zeroed out. We got a stack up of 11.4 mil. So we'll probably go 11.5 or 11.6, whatever we can get out of one of these. I did order 2 of these because some people were saying that they don't come with enough shims. This is the cheaper version. This one's only $13. There was one on there that cost $78. I mean, to each their own, but that sounds crazy to me. Okay. All right, these are your shims that you get with it. So we're gonna set them to the side. Open up the big solid spacer here. All right, first thing we're gonna do is get a measurement, get us a baseline on that. We're at 11 mil, pretty much even. Maybe 1108, 1107. That does have wiggle on there, but maybe that's fairly normal. This is 0.32. We're 11.38 right now. Right now we're at 11.85. So let's see what this one is. 30, that's a 0.3 mil. That one's thicker. It's a 50. This is a 25. We'll stack these up and see what we got. At 11.54. Alright, we're gonna load all this in. And then we're going to drop our assembly down. And so now with a solid one of these, you will have a torque spec. So I'm gonna go ahead and look that up. Makes it feels really tight. I didn't turn it at all, so. The fact that we're getting nothing could very well mean there's gonna be nothing, which is wild. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm guessing there's a sweet spot right in between 60 and 40. Yeah, I mean, that feels like that's probably nothing. Yep. We have like 2. Maybe we finally got into 2, which I can live with. But this is as close as we can get it. But I would like to try to get it a little bit tighter than that. So we're gonna go, we're gonna go 60. We're gonna swap out the 40 mil to a 30 mil. See if that gets us where we want to be. Make sure there's no shims up here. In theory, this should be as close as we can possibly get it. They make jigs specifically for these things. Guys that do this all the time will build something to bolt this to, so they can just do this repeatedly without it ever moving. I just have one truck in here. Alright. That feels a little more like it. I've been wrong before. So we'll see what we got. Right now we're reading maybe a little higher than we were before. I can probably live with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and torque that nut. Also, that's not final torque. According to the what I read online, it'll be somewhere around 200. So probably gonna go 180, just because I feel like 200 might be a little bit high for those shims. Oh, that's like. Sure that works. Right here. Oh my god, that actually is perfect. Yeah, we're right in between 0 and 10. And a little bit on the low side, so probably around 3 to 4. Which is where I wanted to be. Go. Go on. Okay. And see, this is so, but because you did the solid spacer, this assembly never has to come back out to do this seal. If you're rebuilding the rear end, this has to come out, but because you have to replace those bearings in there. Also, you're going to have to reset your solid spacer when you do new bearings, because this is currently set up for the bearings that were already in here, which from what I was reading was 0 to 5 thousandths. And on new bearings, it's like 10, I think, or 8. I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to tell you a bunch of inaccurate information, but yeah, 0 to 5 on used is what I went with. I'm right at 2.5 to 3. So I'm pretty happy with that. My axle is rotating over here, so everything's locked in like it's supposed to be. Everything's spinning free. So now we just torque these bolts down. I believe it's like 35, 40 foot-pounds. So I just want to let you guys know, if you're watching my videos ever, I don't have a fucking clue what I'm doing. I put the slide hammer in here with this bearing puller, and it was cocked sideways. Well, I hammered it and it lodged in there the way it was supposed to be. I thought it would pop this race out. I got it to there and it stopped. I can't get it to move anymore. So this thing doesn't quite fit the correct way, but it turns out it doesn't have to. You just kind of wedge it in here at the bottom how it fits. It already started going, and just Hey, pull the back plate off first. Regardless, the race is out. We'll just... slide it back on for now. Anyway, that's the race out. Oh, the fucking thing cracked as I was cutting through it. Hey, look at that, kids. Well, usually, that cracked when I was cutting through it, but usually you take this and a hammer, stick it in that crack, give it a smack, and then come right off. But this one came off without me doing that. That was almost knocked out right there. Yeah. These things all broke. I had these two stacked up. These things are all the way down there. Oh, really? Oh, let's make that do less work on my part. I had two. I had these both stacked up together. Something I fucked up and run the other day. No, this first one. You can't have these two both together. Otherwise, when this goes up onto here, it's up to this. We had a lot of trouble with them, but. Right there, get hard to put down. I think that means that it's going over that. It may not be, but. So this, there's a collar right there. So this comes up. Oh, okay. So just gotta put them out a little bit. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just hard to. Actually, no, it's going easier now. I don't think it was hanging up. Yeah, I think even if you were closing this and put that in the oven, I don't know if it went that far. It's supposed to. He's got press on good ways. Plus, I don't know what fucking freezer he is. He's using an entire freezer. It is better on variable. To freeze it, put it on. Let's try this on the variable. So you can pretty much, I don't know if you can see or not. Let's take the camera off of this. So because we didn't do a lot of cleaning, you can see right there on that edge where the steel used to ride. So I'm going to get close to that because this has movement in it. I'm gonna stop right there for now. I'm gonna compare it to my other. Alright, so a lot of our parts came in. We're still waiting on the O-ring for the carrier. But real quick, let me get you guys a shot. I've already installed the new sway bar link right here. Alright, so I've already installed this new sway bar link on this side, and I think I've actually bolted in the one on the side. Nothing's actually tightened. I just wanted to make sure that they were going to fit. But I'm going to go ahead and get our shock in and just start getting this rear end buttoned up. While we're here, we're going to go ahead and tighten these two sway bar link nuts, and we're going to torque this sway bar link on both ends as well. Actually, on these right here, you don't want to torque these until the vehicle's on the ground, because you want the suspension to be under a load. So make sure you leave these loose. No, no, regular water nut. Okay. All right, right now, we're going to so I'm going to do that. Go ahead and lose that. Well. Hopefully that did not collapse that line. If we have a problem, I will go ahead and replace that. Yeah, a lot of people do not recommend this. Anywho. Alright, that's pretty much all of our suspension components installed. What we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and get the axles slid in, bolted in. Alright, lug studs are in. Right now I'm having a little bit of an issue with the races hanging. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of this assembly glue and tack it back in place with that, so I don't have to worry about it flopping all over the place on me. I can just focus on getting my axle in. Alright, and that'll hold it for us. And as soon as fluid hits that assembly glue, it goes away. So it soaks into the fluid. You don't really have to worry about it that much. There it went. With our axle started, we're going to take a hammer and hit on the middle of this. Make sure you're hitting on the middle. Try to avoid the lug studs. You're going to have to tap that new race in. Okay? So now we want to get our bolts going. Like this. We're not all the way in yet. You can hear a tone change when it's actually seated. Now it's just a matter of getting these 4 bolts tightened up right. I'm going to go exact opposite. You want to make sure that you're moving nice and free. All right. He wants to get that one on this lift next.
Is he gonna sell it?
I don't think so. We can't sell it. It's in Brenda's name.
Then why is it here, Loki?
Huh?
Why is it here though?
Because this truck always ran and drove and everything. We used to drive around. We didn't want to sit up there and just never get driven and sit and then
So
be.
now it's so scared and everything.
Well, he was driving it, so it quit running. Oh, that's the lug nut. Are you bringing one of those lug nuts with a washer, please? Alright, so we're back on the ground. The rear end is done. The only thing left is to bleed the brakes and torque all of the suspension stuff. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. In the next video, we're going to be tuning the carburetor, swapping out the column, and wiring up a couple switches inside, a couple things I want to do. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one, guys, and I hope to see you in the next one.